survivor, a single mom who works 2 jobs.
All right, guys.
You don't even have your mic with you.
Well, they can hear me.
So,
Guys,
got him.
you guys got me. It's Sofa Survivors.
Sofa Survivors.
Sofa Survivors. We just finished up a episode of Sofa Tomatoes. If you're a Survivor geek, get off Survivor. Watch Sofa Tomatoes. Check us out. Or just listen to us, whatever you want.
Send us an email.
Send us a goddamn email,
Send
Mike.
us a
Where
fucking
to?
email.
Where can they email
At
us?
sofatomatoespod@gmail.com.
If you don't know how to spell it, you shouldn't be sending an email. Anywho, welcome to Sofa Survivors. I am Tom Sofa.
I'm Mike fucking Tomato.
Wow, didn't know you had a middle name.
Yeah, I do now.
Okay, Mike fucking Tomato.
just declared
MFT,
I just declared it.
as we call him.
It's my Christian name.
We are here talking about season 1, episode 12 of Survivor.
We're here, guys. We're here.
This episode is called Death of an Alliance. This is the what's the fancy word for before the last?
Before the last.
Like the penultimum
I have no idea.
penultimate episode.
The penultimate episode.
Yes, which means the episode or the one before the final, the second to last. It's another term for that.
Sure.
The penultimate.
I've never heard that before, but I believe you.
You've never heard penultimate?
Never.
Okay, well,
But I believe you.
add it to your vocab. Episode. It's called Death of an Alliance.
Dun dun dun.
And we have
All good things must come to an end.
5 survivors left.
5.
Sean, Rudy, Kelly, Richard, and Susan.
Honestly, when I was watching the episode, because it's been a while since I was watching
Tuned in.
Survivor,
Yeah, same.
I literally forgot Sean was there. I literally forgot that he was a part, of,
yeah,
part of the show.
Under the radar. So this is still the Ratana tribe, but only Tagi tribe is left.
Correct.
Pagong has been successfully annihilated, voted off the island. Goodbye.
Systematically, brutally.
Destroyed. It's
Yeah.
a shame, but it's a fact. And
They didn't play to win.
To talk about and just name, as we do on every episode, we're going to name everybody who's gone at this point.
Our fallen tributes.
And I'm going to go in reverse as to who's gone the soonest, which is Colleen, and then Jarvis, then Jenna, then Greg, then Gretchen, then Joel, then Dirk, then Ramona, then Stacy, then BB, then Sonia.
Then Donna and Vixen and Blitzen.
No reindeer. But that's it. They're all gone. There's only 5 characters left. And paranoia is setting in, wouldn't you say?
The girls are going through it, I think, because it's like they're on day 31 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I could understand that without having running water, access to sustainable food, getting destroyed by mosquitoes, eating nothing but, rice, coconuts, and stingrays. Rats, being stung by stingrays.
Yep.
I'm sure I would also be at my wit's end and be ready to just rip off anybody's head who said anything.
For sure.
So I get that. I feel I respected the volatility that was coming through the TV.
No doubt. So the episode starts out with Richard and Sue talking to the group about how it's now every man or woman for themselves. How there's no longer alliances between people now, which is always a lie. It's something that gets said all the time. But
it was such a lie. Rich and Rudy were still buddy.
Always.
And
Till
then
the end.
Sean was stupid and never made an alliance with anybody.
Yeah.
And then Kelly and Sue were kind of still together, but there's drama and conflama that you'll get to, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and then one thing that I liked was Rich said something. He said that there never really was a Ratana tribe. And I wholeheartedly agree with that.
Yeah, so true.
That is such a fact. I would say that Tagi was the only legit tribe.
Yeah.
Honestly. There was never... And I'd say Pagong was also their own tribe. They were nothing like the Tagi tribe. It's completely separate. But they never worked as... They were never one tribe. They never
were so naive.
Operated it in that way. And it's... It's just a fact. So good talking, Rich. I like that.
Yeah, it was real. Wirtagi actually, the tribe members formed an alliance, played the game. Pagong was just like, we're here on an island.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was never going to work for them. Ever.
Definitely. Sean is who you forgot is even in the show.
Nipple, as
Nipple.
I've referred to
Yeah,
him in the
they keep
past.
Nipple around for as long as they can. He says that everybody's just talking shit. Rich is talking shit about Kelly. Kelly's talking shit about Sue. Sue's talking shit about Rudy, and it's just a cycle of a cycle of a cycle.
Yep.
Based on kind of what we're seeing at this point of the episode, I was under the impression early on that this might be Sue's goodbye episode. I kind of thought.
I was thinking the same thing, that I was like, I was reeling at the
Yep.
fact of my girl, my Wisconsin truck driving
Queen.
debutante
Yep.
was about to be eliminated. I was really reeling.
They really said that. And Rudy claims that his word is good. He's just like, my word is good. I hope his word's good. And he's just kind of talking about his alliance with Rich. And
Rudy's such a fucking boomer.
yeah, he's
Like,
boomer.
he's so boomer. The fact that I think there was one moment they were like, this might be in another episode. I don't really remember. No, it is in a later episode.
Okay, then don't talk
But
about
they were
it.
talking about Rudy's wife, and the way that he talks about his wife, I was like, Rudy, get off my screen. It's very misogynist.
Yeah. Anywho. Kelly doesn't think that doesn't like Rich and how he's going about things, but Kelly's trying to talk to Rich about getting Rudy out, which is kind of crazy. And then I just feel like Rich at the beginning of this episode, he's just lying to everybody,
Oh, totally.
which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Kelly was like, "Yeah, let's get Rudy out. Let's get Rudy out." And Rich was like, "Yeah, totally. Whatever. Don't like him." And I thought that was kind of funny. And then this is when Sue and Kelly are on just terrible terms.
They go to blows.
They go to
It comes to
blows.
blows, and it's really Sue's fault.
Yeah,
It really is.
I agree.
Kelly was down to be allies to the end, but Sue saw Kelly as her biggest threat. So Sue was like, I'm going to vote for you because you're my biggest threat. And Kelly's like, well, fuck you. And then Sue's like, well, you're a two-faced bitch. And Kelly was like, no, you're a two-faced bitch. And they were really going at it.
They really were. And I just wonder if that's a premature two-faced bitch. I think that's at the beginning of the next episode. But in this case, they're pretty much Kelly.
The vibe is still the same.
Yeah, the vibe is the same. Sue pretty much hits Kelly with a, I'm not talking to you at this point. I'm just not going to talk to you.
Correct.
We're just going to be civil, and I'm just not going to talk to you.
She gives her silent treatment.
And Kelly's just trying to save face. I feel like everything that she was saying was pretty just, honestly, when she's trying to save face.
I agree. I really don't think Kelly had a bad bone in her body. And I really, unfortunately, even though Sue is my girl, she was being stupid.
She's being boomer.
She was being,
Low-key.
she was.
Low-key. She turned boomer.
She went boomer.
She did. And I liked Rich's little nickname for Kelly. Did you catch that?
Kel's Bells?
Kel's Bells.
Yeah.
Like that. Thanks, Kel's Bells. Liked it. Susan, she then got stung by that stingray, which you mentioned earlier.
She did get stung by a stingray. She said it was her second time getting stung. Poor girl.
Oh, yeah. Rudy says he's ready to go home. He said he doesn't care about anyone on the island.
Not a single one.
Doesn't care, truly.
Boomer mentality.
Which I thought was nuts. But anyway, a bucket with mud says dig in. And Sue goes ahead and just puts her hand in it. And it's just swamp mud.
Mm-hmm.
And then we kind of turn to Jeff. And he's like, it's day 35 on the island. And then they head to this here mud volcano. And they have to do kind of a fun little get as much mud into a bucket by transporting it with only your body as you can.
Yeah. It's kind of funny, kind of fun. It was for a reward.
For beer.
It was for Bud Light.
Bud Light and at a bar, and you get to watch with Jeff, and you get to watch the first 5 minutes of the
Correct.
first episode of the first season of Survivor.
And also, I would say you get like there was more that came with it. The winner also got like a giant bowl of pasta.
Yeah, there's food involved and
Yeah.
this and that. I will say that this type of a challenge is something that we see in the future.
A beer reward?
No, the challenge, not the reward.
Oh, got it.
The challenge itself. Them having to move mud or whatever using their body.
Via their bodies.
That happens again at least once, maybe 2 or 3 times. I'm not sure.
I
But-
definitely feel like those with longer hair have a better. They just have an asset because you can definitely stuff more in your hair.
Yep.
Hair is ultra absorbent.
But you got to be smart enough to do it that way.
You really got options.
But if you're a little bit bigger, you got a little bit of a belly. You can kind of like really balance it up. There.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised.
You got more surface area.
You got shoulders. You got it all. You can get it up there. And I really felt like with beer being the reward that was advertised, I felt like that people that lost didn't really mind.
No,
I felt like it was kind of like a chill reward.
Yeah,
it was like, here's the reward. You're far into it.
It's
like,
a Bud Light.
Yeah,
It's dirty beer water, or it's dirty piss water.
definitely.
Now, if it was wine, different story.
yeah,
You could be like Mike White carrying a glass of wine around the tribe,
yeah,
and I would love that. I love that video of him.
yeah. I thought that in this one Kelly won. Kelly becomes a winner at the end of this show, even though like
She does.
spoilers. Like
No, spoilers abound. Kelly crushes it.
she does.
Kelly
And,
shits on these hoes.
Yeah, she had 15.9 pounds of mud, which topped Sean's 15.4. Susan only had 15. Rudy and Rich didn't stand a chance. 12.9 and 10. And Kelly seemed to enjoy the reward. I think that that she just got that mentality in her. She just gets the dub.
She's playing to win. And like I said, she shit on these hoes.
Yeah. The mud game helped the tribe relax. They kind of chilled out a little bit. It helped sizzle off Sue and Kelly.
Yep.
A little bit at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Rich can't believe how much that it chilled out Sue and Kelly in the moment. He really couldn't.
Yep.
And
Because they were like cleaning each other off. They were
Yeah.
getting the mud out of each other's
But they're the
hair.
only 2 girls left.
They were
like-
being girls again.
Yep.
Even though Sue is not a girl's girl and it
Mhm.
showed. But it's fine.
Kelly goes on to her reward and gets on a nice little boat, heads to the bar, and it's called the Survivor Bar, which I thought was interesting.
Do you think that they made that bar for the show?
I wrote right next. I said, "Is it a set or a real place?"
I think it's a set. I think they made it up.
I also thought it kind of looked like a set, but I could also see,
Like maybe there was a local
Them-
resort.
like them being like, first, like Survivor's happening here. Let's put a bar called the Survivor Bar,
Right.
And make it a thing.
I would imagine
I
there's
consider it.
probably some resort nearby because that's probably where the crew stayed.
Right.
And that's probably where they set it up.
To be honest, I meant to do some research and find out, but I didn't. Got caught up. Didn't happen. So
I think it's okay.
it is okay. No, it's okay. I'm genuinely interested, truly. But anyhow, whatever. Kelly talks to Jeff about how the drama is being added to the game, and it just gets tougher and tougher for her. That's because she's very emotional in the best way and not in a negative way. And
Because she's a woman. No.
she's just an emotional person.
No, she's just, she's being honest.
Yeah.
She's being candid.
There really wasn't too much hot goss or anything that happened
Not
because
really.
Kelly's pretty chill. Day 36 comes and Sue tells Kelly that she is aligned with Rich.
Yep.
Straight up.
Yep.
Kelly is still upset, and they claim that they patch it up, but clearly they did not.
No.
It's just bullshit.
This is, in my opinion, where Sue took a Glock 15 and shot herself in the fucking foot
Yeah.
because she could have
Just keep your mouth shut about your
just
alliance.
shut up, right?
If you have an alliance, shut up.
Just shut up and
You
then
don't talk
don't
about
go with the one person that everyone's just like everyone is out to get because he's a schemer or whatever.
Unbelievable.
Like it was just so Sue, I don't understand because
Yeah.
I think Sue probably thought that if it was going to come down to her versus Kelly, people are going to choose Kelly because Pagong was the tribal essentially, and Kelly made more friends with Pagong than Sue did.
And Kelly freaking is winning challenges.
But Kelly's winning, so it's like she deserves it anyway, Sue. So get over it. Kelly's gonna beat you. She's beating you.
Totally.
But align yourself with Rich.
And it's at this point in the penultimate episode where Sean says he's going to focus on getting immunity, and he's done being the nice guy. He's
Fuck
actually gonna take it in.
Sean.
It took him to the second to last episode, the third to last day of the entire thing to decide that he's going to give this thing a shot.
Get nipple off my screen. I was so.
Does that smell like white privilege to you? That he's just,
girl, that
he now that he's just waltzed his way to the last couple episodes. Now he's going to start trying.
Yeah, white male privilege in the flesh.
What a joke!
Fucking nipple.
Yeah, well,
sick of it. Get him off my screen.
So it's the last night. Oh, last night Jeff Probst went missing with a video camera thing.
I thought this was so stupid.
I did too, and it was almost so stupid that I almost thought it was TikTok worthy.
Kind of, yeah.
It's
kind of memeable, but it was cringe. It was dumb. It was weird. I did not like that.
Yeah. And he goes, Pagong Beach at sundown.
And he was
Immunity
so
challenge.
sweaty.
Sweaty Jeff.
Yeah, he was so sweaty.
Like awkwardly sweaty. Like, what were you doing, Jeff?
Like did you run 5 miles? Yeah. Like, what is this?
So this was, I thought it was a fine challenge, but I didn't like the challenge. You have to search for 5 masks and answer 5 questions in order to appease the jungle spirit.
I didn't really care. Well, like, I thought it was a fine challenge. I just didn't care for the whole, like, giving you the answers before you did the challenge. Yeah. Where Jeff was like, he's telling them the lore of the jungle and the indigenous population and how to answer the questions. I would have just much appreciated if they were just questions that you should have known as a survival person, like similar to like the game where they did like not category, like whatever categories or trivia. Like if it was just kind of like that, like
earlier in the season or in the next episode,
like that challenge, like earlier in the season where they did like a trivia.
I agree.
If they just kind of did that, that would have been fine.
A lot more trivia in this season than there are in future seasons. I think
I think
they're trying to find their footing and they don't know the balance.
Yeah.
There's usually only like one trivia thing. Yeah. But whatever.
I think they ran out of ideas. I think the producers ran out.
They might have been grasping.
And the fact you had to like record it, like what the fuck is that? Like just go collect the things.
They needed the proof. But I agree
come back to the beach. Give your answers.
I agree.
And be done.
Yeah, it was stupid.
The cameras were not necessary.
The best part of the whole challenge, do you have anything to say about what the best part was?
No.
None. No best part?
No, because I didn't particularly enjoy it.
The best part, this sounds like something you might have skipped through. Did you skip through this at all?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. You're notorious for that.
I do skip.
I know. And I do too, a little bit here and there, but not through this type of stuff. Rudy was the best part of this challenge.
Because he didn't know shit.
He put the camera on himself. He went, I don't know.
Yeah.
and then I was like, oh, that's hilarious. Let me write that down. Like he doesn't know one. And then the next one came for him, and he goes, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I was just like, Rudy is out of this one, and I love it.
Yeah, Rudy really wasn't using his noggin. He really, even though Jeff gave him all the answers before they went out, Rudy was like, I don't need to remember any of it.
It was so good. And I just knew that Sean wasn't in this, so I wrote down Kelly, Rich, or Sue. I knew that the 3 of them were probably going to win.
Yeah.
Kelly ends up winning, and then I just wrote down goodbye, Sue. Is Sue?
I was nervous
on the chopping block.
I was getting real nervous.
It's 2 moments where I feel like Sue is probably a goner. And then we get to tribal because it's right after, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And I will say that Jeff is digging deep in this tribal. I don't know if you recall, But Jeff really was asking some solid questions, and he was trying to provoke things.
I think he was like it only took him to the last 2 episodes of the season, but I think he was finally figuring out how to stir the pot.
But unfortunately, everybody was soft spoken.
Yeah.
They really were. I felt like that Jeff was bringing it and nobody was biting. Nobody took the bait. And it was what it was.
Yeah, it was very diplomatic of all of them.
And the votes came, and it came down 1-3. They didn't show the final vote. They didn't need to. It was 1-3. Sue stays. Sean, goodbye.
Goodbye, Nipple.
Goodbye,
Thank
Nipple.
God.
I wrote goodbye, Sean. I said one of the least deserving to still be there. In my
so
opinion.
True.
Goodbye.
So true.
He was chosen to go on the boat thing early as like a rep for them or whatever. He was
as the ambassador.
Yeah, like what the actual heck?
Yeah, he was part of the shitty name of Ratana. Ratana.
Goodbye. So yeah. All in all, decent episode. Challenges, meh. First challenge good. Second challenge not so good. Glad to see Sean go.
Very happy to see Sean leave. I thought this was a more drama-filled episode than we've gotten in the past.
Finding some footing.
But, a little too late. But in the end of the day, I think the right person went home.
I agree.
And I was okay with that.
I agree. I kind of didn't think that Sean was going to go home. I kind of thought that that it would have been in... I don't think there was any way that Sean could have won. I think Rich might have been smart to get rid of Sue right there.
Yeah.
And go, like, I really do. I think that would have been smart. But maybe then if somehow Sean had won like the next immunity the next day, he might have been able to talk them into getting Rudy out of there. So I guess he was kind of slow playing Sue.
It would have been in Rich's best interest to keep Rudy, because if it was going to come down to Rich or Rudy, I think they would choose Rich, the tribal. Because Rudy, like you said, didn't care about anybody.
Yeah, but Rudy, nobody's going to let Rudy win. He's a drag along.
That's the point.
That's why you don't vote him out. At the
until the very end.
Even no, you want to sit there at the end against him.
I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. Rich was playing the game to where it was just going to be him and Rudy at the end.
That's what. Yeah. So if Sue had not been voted out, Sean could have won the next immunity over Kelly, possibly, and Sean might have been able to sway the vote towards Rich and side with Kelly.
I mean, if I remember correctly, the next challenge or immunity challenge was like knowing the contestants, knowing the fellow tribe members. I think that was what followed next.
Oh yeah, he wouldn't have won.
And I don't think Sean would have won that.
He would have won that.
It would have been Kelly.
Point. Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. All right. Well, anyways, guys, that was season 1, episode 12 of Survivor. And if you'd like to take a little break ski before we get to the finale ski, now would be the time.
Mm-hmm. This is your time.
Take your time. Do what you want to do with it. And we are back.
Hello.
We're back, you guys. Welcome back. I'm glad you paused. I'm glad you came back. And
where did you go? I missed you.
Yeah, tell us where you went. Send us a freaking email, you guys.
Send us an email with a picture of where you went. I want to know.
A picture of where you went.
I want to know.
Here we are. We've made it a long way.
We're here. We're fucking here, Joe.
Mike, you can officially say that you have finished a full season of Survivor.
Full season, bitch.
I'm not going to wait to ask you how you feel about it until the very, very end. Okay. So hold your thoughts about how you feel.
It's up in my cranium.
In general, not towards the episode. I want to hear all your thoughts towards the episode.
Full overarching opinion.
Hold on to it. Think about it. Really, really craft a monologue that the
Okay.
people are going to want to hear because this will be big.
All right. All right.
And that's all I have to say
The
about
noodle
that.
is caboodling right now.
So we're at season 1. We're at episode 13. The episode is called Borneo, the final 4. Not sure what that even means.
Don't know, but it's provocative.
It is a little bit. And we got 4 left. We got Rudy, Kelly, Richard, and Susan. And the people that are gone, we got Sonia, BB, Stacy, Ramona, Dirk, Joel, Gretchen, Greg, Jenna, Jarvis, Colleen, and Shawnee. Nipple. All gone. 4 left. Final 4.
Dum, da-dum, dum.
Dum. We start the episode off with Rudy being shaved by Sue.
Yes.
Because the women get a nice little care package, as they should.
Which, in my opinion, I don't know if this is true, but like Rudy had made the comment that after the women were done shaving their armpits, they shaved his face.
Yeah.
And if they used the same razor, that's disgusting.
Yeah, it's all kind of gross out there. So
That's foul.
it's all gross out there.
Just saying.
Yeah. Well,
I gagged when I heard that.
Yeah, it was gross. It was. I agree. It was gross, but
I was gagging,
yeah.
and not in a good way. That was not good gagging.
Yeah,
It was straight gagging, not gay gagging.
Gag's a gag. Rudy thinks he lost 22 pounds, which I don't disagree. He looks
He was looking very thin.
very thin. And Rich thinks he lost 30. And I will say he looked thin, but in some lights, he doesn't look so
In
thin.
my opinion, Rich doesn't look different at all.
In some lights, I'm like, wow, he looks thin. And then I'm like, did they give him a couple cheeseburgers
No.
before they shot this one?
I mean, yeah.
Rich, I hope you don't see this. I don't mean to make you feel
Rich,
bad,
I hope
brother.
you do see this, and I hope you're on a good fitness journey.
Yeah. And you know what? If you got any spare cash, send it our way.
Sponsor this podcast.
And Kelly has lots of bug bites.
So many bug bites.
It's a shame.
Poor Kelly. I mean, not as bad as I think it was Gretchen's legs,
Yep.
but yeah, bugs.
Sue says at this point that she would rather be with Rich at the end over Kelly.
Yeah, again, shooting herself in the foot.
I noted that Rudy is somewhat of a drag along at this point. The amount of challenges that he's just taken himself out of.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I understand why other players keep him there, but there are so many other characters that are more deserving. But that's the way she goes.
Yeah.
The next challenge is about how well you know the previous tribe mates. And I noted that Kelly's on the hot seat because Sue's willing to go with Rich, and that means that Sue's willing to go with Rudy too, and those are the numbers.
Correct. This was, if Kelly was to lose, I'm afraid that she wouldn't be there anymore.
Yep. And Kelly says that she's here for her, and everyone else can kiss her ass.
Period.
Like that.
Period.
The reward or the challenge comes, and it's called Fallen Comrades. They get asked 10 questions. Winner gets immunity, and then you vote right after. And it was a nail biter. Richard wasn't even close.
Richard doesn't know anybody.
Mm-mm.
Just so funny.
Very focused on himself.
And I believe Tribal was witness to this game.
Yeah.
They were.
Oh, yeah, they were.
So
they saw it all.
Yeah, so they were also witnessing who actually knows who, which could kind of sway their opinion as to be like, huh, this person's a good person.
Definitely.
This person's a bad person. Yeah.
Thanks for mentioning that. That's important.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for.
I agree. That's why I said it. Thank you. I appreciate it. I forgot to mention that. So Kelly ends up winning this one 8-7.
Slays.
To 5-4.
Slays. Wins in overtime.
Goes into overtime. The winning question, do you remember what it was?
What was Sonia's last name?
Which is?
Christopher?
I believe you're right. Kelly wins. I put Kelly wins immunity, ... Yikes. Bye, Sue.
I know. This is when I knew it. It was like, Sue's out. Sue's gone.
Exactly.
She's out. This is the end.
So, and they go to tribal directly after, and Sue and Rich come down to a tie 2-2, which shocked me.
I was shocked by that too,
Did not understand it.
because that means Kelly voted for Rich in the beginning,
Right. Which
which is crazy.
doesn't make sense.
Crazy.
And then Rich makes a pretty good case for himself.
Exactly, Dwayne.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Couldn't be more right. And then Sue doesn't make any case at all.
No, she
She
biffs.
She's like, y'all know. Nah. And guess what? The person that made a case for themselves stayed. Bye, Sue. Peace. See you later.
Ugh, my heart broke. My heartstrings.
And it's official, Mike. You were wrong.
I was
about
wrong.
who's gonna win.
My
So-
heart broke. I wasn't right. My girl Sue didn't make it. And it's fine. It's fine.
Exactly. It has to be fine. Day 38 comes upon us, and Jeff wakes up the three bright and early, the final three. And they set up the final immunity challenge.
Which is, in my opinion, a stupid ass challenge.
Terrible challenge.
So fucking stupid.
But before the challenge comes, they have a long montage of precious things that have happened throughout the season.
I skipped it.
Personally, I dislike.
I
That's what
skipped.
wrote
I skipped
down.
all of it.
Yep, skip through that every single time. Those types of things happen. So in this season, that's what they do. In future seasons, I can't speak for 2, 3, or 4 or whatever, but in like 8, 9, 10, and all the way through, what they do instead of that type of thing, the remaining 3 or 4, they go, "Oh, you remember that person?" Oh, and they like literally remember
Okay.
every single, and it's still dreadful.
Yeah. Skip.
Skip. But if you're
That's
into
why
that
God
sort of
invented
thing,
the fast forward.
if you're into that sort of thing, by all means.
Because God said we're bored, we're gonna fast forward.
Exactly. There's a dramatic walkout, and everybody's got mud all over themselves. It's a keep your hand on the idol contest.
Oh my God, it was so stupid.
Stupid. They really.
Out of everything, out of every possibility, girl, like literally, who can build the best sandcastle? Literally, could have been anything else.
It's brutal. And Rich, I feel like Rich knows how stupid it is.
I agree.
And he just drops out.
Yeah.
He's like, he gives a long speech about it. And he's like, "Oh, I don't want to win because I don't want to decide who goes home," and blah, 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 blah. I think he thought that he's got the game in the bag. He's got the numbers. Whatever. Which I think was silly of him, in my opinion, because I don't know. Maybe because he knew that Rudy gave him his word. I guess I don't know. I thought that was crazy of him to
Don't
do.
know.
He ate the oranges. Jeff tries to put a wedge in between Rudy and Rich, and I think he does a pretty good job of it right there.
Mm-hmm.
And he says that Rudy should be the one sitting out, not Rich. Agreed. And Kelly ends up winning immunity after like hours, 5 hours, 4, like a ridiculous amount of time.
Too long.
Putting your hand on an idol, so stupid.
And then like standing on like a piece of wood.
Yeah. Let's talk about the things that they had to do. Keep your hand on the idol, and then you can like get off the wood and then get back on the wood. It was like so stupid. Rotate around the idol. Come on. And I didn't totally love that. So pretty bad stuff.
Waste of time.
Kelly wins.
Terrible ass challenge.
Kelly wins immunity. She thought she did it. And I wrote, "Bye, Rich," if Kelly is smart.
You know, I also thought if Kelly was smart, she would get rid of Rich. But
What the fuck?
But then at the same time, I was like, Rudy doesn't deserve to be in the finals.
It doesn't. That's not what it's about. It's about playing to win the money.
But it's the first season of Survivor.
I agree.
They don't know these things. They're babies.
You know what? I bet if the shoe were on the other foot, Rich would have gotten rid of Kelly.
Oh, for sure.
You know?
For sure. Because Rich was playing for the money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So stupid is stupid is stupid is stupid. And what are you going to do? And then even after that, I wrote, Rich is delusional, thinking it's in Kelly's best interest to keep him.
Delusional.
Rich is full-blown delulu. There's no doubt skis.
Well, okay. So if you look at it in the perspective that like everybody hates Rich,
It doesn't matter.
so if it's Kelly and Rich, the likelihood of people choosing Kelly because they like her more than Rich is possible.
Rudy won nothing. The only reason that he is still around is because he got lucky to be on Tagi's tribe.
Yeah.
And that he has been riding Rich's coattails the whole way.
And he'll never win because he was a jaded boomer old bitch.
So Kelly stand next to him. Win.
Yeah.
$1 million.
Yeah.
Or give it to the already wealthy man. Anyhow.
I don't think Rich was already wealthy.
He's already in corporate America. He's got an adopted.
He definitely was probably
he's got a son. Like
he had a son?
Yes.
Richard?
Yes.
Gay Richard.
Dude, do you even watch the show?
I don't remember him having a child.
He talks about how he can't wait to go back and see his son.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't remember that.
Well, if I'm wrong, light me up. And they go straight to tribal. Kelly goes to be the only person to vote. And oh my God, goodbye, Rudy. I was shocked. Shocked.
Was living. I said goodbye, Rudy. The queers are coming for you.
Yeah. And in this case, I liked what Jeff said. He said, in this case, Kelly has spoken, not the tribe. Which I like that. I like that. But I will reiterate, Kelly, you fucked up. You lost yourself $1 million. Yeah. Plain and simple.
But I mean, also, if we look back and we reflect on Kelly's choice of men.
Yeah. Bad boyfriend, probably. We don't know what they're doing now. Maybe he's straight, I don't know. But he's, no.
But all I'm saying is Kelly doesn't really give the impression that she knows how to pick them.
That's true. And Jeff kind of gives the parameters about what's about to come. And he says each jury member is going to get one question. And he says, who will be the sole survivor?
Oh my God. It's happening.
So we get to the last day on the island.
Last day.
Final day.
We're finally here.
And Kelly's chilling. Rich is also chilling. They both have the let's chill and just kind of think mentality. There's not much else to do. There's no one to really impress.
Right. There's no reason to have beef with the two of them either.
Yep. There's a corny montage about how Rich and Kelly did what it took to get to the final two. Hated this. It literally just they went over every character and they were like, Rich is there because he was able to do this. Kelly is there because she did this and won this and did that. And I was just like, shut up and stop wasting my time.
Every montage
so bad
on this entire season was terrible.
Yeah, montages are bad. And you know what? Montages have not aged well in sitcoms as well. As a personal person who loves sitcoms, and the montage episodes are les skip.
The only time a montage is warranted, in my opinion, is when it's dialectical, which for the cinephiles out there would understand when I forget the name of the Russian director who introduced the montage.
Yeah.
And the scene of the stroller and the baby. That's the only time.
Fact. Drama builds. And Sue can't wait to ask her question. Colleen is so over it all. She just does. She's like such a youngin. She's just like, I'm not in it. I don't care.
Which vibes.
I get it.
I kind of can understand that. You're like, I want to go home. Why am I still here?
Yep. And Kelly, she uses her emotions to remind the people how she won the trivia. When they get to the final showdown, Jeff kind of gives everybody their own chance to speak. And when Kelly speaks, she's like, I won trivia. I know all you guys. I took time to get to know you guys. That's why I'm here. That's this, that's that. Honestly, she should have talked about, and I have the experience of seeing more of these finales to see how, good things to say. She didn't talk about how she won a bunch of immunities. She didn't talk about how she won challenges. She didn't
Not at
talk
all.
about how
She didn't really sell herself.
she really didn't sell herself that well. But for first time, young, tricky, I get it. I get it. I really do. Richard talks about how he has been strategizing from the beginning. And he talks about how he started strategizing before he even got to the island. Nobody else was doing that.
It's true.
Nobody else.
It's true. Out of everybody on that godforsaken show, Rich was the only one that showed up to play.
For real.
It's so true. He's the only one that saw the goal of $1 million and said, I'm going to do whatever it takes to win that. Everybody else was just like, I'm here on an island and without trying to think, I'm so happy to be here.
Right. So literally, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
You know? So it comes down, they ask who played the better game.
The only one that played it.
Right. I agree. And that's okay. So I actually wrote down every single question. And
Did you really? I'm not going to lie. I skipped some of this.
That's fair. And so this is going to be some news to you.
Good.
So live reaction.
Yeah, I'm excited.
It starts with Jarvis's question. And his question was pretty basic. But not bad. He said, what would you change about your game?
Kelly, I would have one.
Rich said that he got too comfortable trusting people, which I don't think is true, but you got to answer the question.
Sure.
Kelly says she wouldn't have joined the alliance.
Dumb. Stupid. You wouldn't even be there.
Stupid. Wouldn't be there. I wrote that down. I said, I wrote down, yeah, well, you'd be voted off at the same time that Gretchen was voted
Exactly.
off. Because Gretchen should be where you are had she had the brains to join an alliance. Fact.
Period. Period.
So just my personal opinion. Jenna comes in with her questions. And her question is, who two would you swap with? Like, instead of you two, who should be the other two that maybe are on the jury that should be there?
I did skip this one.
I thought that was a pretty good question.
I agree. I like that question.
And Rich said that he would bring Rudy.
Okay.
Because he's his day one. That's a fair...
All right.
Throughout Survivor future, that is a fair thing to say. If you got a day one, no matter you swap with your day one, they're your day one.
Okay.
If it's not going to be you, it's going to be your day one. Otherwise, they're not your day one. And I thought that Rich, he because he is playing the game,
yeah,
he wants to make sure that he still has Rudy's vote.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So he said, Rudy, I'll swap with you.
Yeah. Got it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the best answer would be to anybody that was in that room.
And exactly. And Rich also said Greg, which I think was also him playing the hot hand.
Yeah.
Because Greg was very not fond of Rich.
No.
But he knows that Rich knows that Greg loves a good stroke of the ego.
I was just about to say, yeah, he does.
So Rich really was brilliant in deciding to lock those two votes in there.
That corporate communication really showed out.
I thought it was interesting. Let's see here. Kelly said that she would pick Sonia and Gretchen. Two people that are not on the jury. Good job. Yeah, good job. You got Colleen to go on that one. And Jenna to go Good job. You're stupid.
Kelly, no.
Can you believe that you skipped through that? That's good tea that you missed.
You're right. That is good tea that I missed. And it's so disappointing, Kelly.
Yeah.
I was rooting for you.
Stupid. And you know why? She would have picked them?
Because they're...
Due to their character.
Because they're good people.
Just due to their character. Well, she had good character. Sean's question. Did you see Nipple's question?
If you say it, it might ring some bells.
He had no question. He said, thank you, Kelly. And he said, dear Richard, we played different games, and that is why you're there and I'm here.
That's it?
Yeah.
I did skip that then. Because that's so...
So far, you've skipped them all.
I did. I think I did. I think I really did.
So good thing I wrote these down. Otherwise we might not have gotten
No,
all of
we
it.
never touched
Jesus
on it.
Christ.
I was so over it by this point. In the
I know,
game.
but this part. So if you choose to move forward with the show in the future,
Okay.
I want you to know that
I
this
gave
part,
you another season. You get one more season.
I better. Do I get a later season or do you just want
of your
season?
choice?
Okay,
Because that was the rule.
All right.
Season 1 was my choice, and then you get a season of your choice.
We're gonna have to talk that through. Where are we? Sean. We just did Sean.
Sean, his no question.
Yep.
Fucking.
Colleen's question was, what 3 character traits got you to the end?
Okay. Okay.
You didn't see this.
No, I like I said, I'm.
I know. I'm gonna keep giving you a hard time though until we're.
That's
done.
fine. That's fine.
So-
I deserve it.
So take it, and that's okay. That's okay. But,
No,
but in the future, these parts are solid. These are not like the montages.
Okay.
This is juice. This is serious good stuff.
Okay.
But that's okay. Don't worry about it.
No, I deserve
that's
it.
what. No. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. That's why you got me.
So I hear your notes.
And thank God. I'm gonna say this for the people right now before we continue. Okay.
Tell it to the people.
I
Tell it to the
am
people.
going to make a TikTok involving all the notes that I have made.
Oh
about
my
the
God.
Survivor.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. And I cannot wait to put it out there for the people.
Because you got a binder in there.
I kept every single one. And I hope to continue this podcast going. And I hope to have a fat stack of Survivor notes by the time that I'm done.
Amazing.
Because I'm going to take more notes about Survivor than I took in school. That's what's going to happen.
Priorities.
Priorities and goals.
Yes. All happening here
Yeah.
on Sofa Survivor.
Oh, yeah. So Colleen comes in and her question is, what 3 character traits would you take to the end? Terrible answers. Kelly said faith. Can you believe that? At what point did you feel like Kelly was showing that she was... What? Wasn't that interesting?
And the Jesus guy isn't even on the tribal.
Yep. And Kelly said likability, which is, I thought, solid.
Fair.
Solid,
Fair. Yeah, fair.
You want to be likable. And then she said strong will. Fair. Maybe you should talk about how you won challenges with that strong will.
Exactly.
And maybe you should talk about how you weren't scared to go up against Sue and her fucking sour pussness. But she hasn't said shit yet.
Ugh.
Rudy's question. You remember Rudy's question?
Well, what was Rich's answer?
Oh, good point. Let's go back a step. Rich's answer was self-awareness.
Okay. I agree with that.
Observation.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And ethics.
I think even though he was
somewhat ethical. He wasn't like doing anything terrible.
He wasn't crazy backstabber or whatever. No,
he wasn't cringy.
No, I would say he played an ethical game.
Relatively.
Yeah.
Unless you consider just like lying to people, but like.
Yeah, but that's the nature of it. So
I agree.
I in all things considered, yeah, I would say
one thing that was kind of funny though was when Rich said observation. Colleen, who just doesn't like his pompousness.
Yeah.
Colleen is like, really? Well, then how come you lost that trivia thing where you didn't know anything about all of
Period.
Well,
her
Rich,
Jade.
Well, yeah, you like that, but Rich is smart. He's like, not that kind of observation. I'm observing the strategy of the game, not observing.
No,
I don't care to get to know you guys, honestly, and which is fact.
It's true. It's true.
Which is fact.
No, it is. It's a different level of.
But it was funny to see. It was a good little snapback type of thing.
That's Colleen being like, "Oh, you thought, bitch."
Yeah. And Rich was like, "Oh, well, you thought." So, anyhow, and then Rudy comes in with his question. And his question, he says, "I've got nothing to say. He just feels dumb," is what he said. He feels dumb.
Because he is.
He is.
Get him off my screen.
So that was the end of that.
2 fucking non-questions. 2.
Oh, dude.
Nipple and Rudy.
You ready to hear Greg's question?
Oh, God. The guy who went to a fucking Ivy League school.
He goes up, he says,
yeah.
Pick a number between 1 and 10.
Shut the fuck up.
And Rich goes, 7, without hesitation.
Great answer.
Kelly goes 3.
Mild.
And that was it. That was it for Greg. Nothing. That was it. So, Sue comes out.
Oh my God, I hate that so much, actually.
You didn't wait to see Sue's anything? You weren't interested to see what Sue's question was or anything when she said she was excited or anything?
No.
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 Wow.
No. I
I
I was trying to
I
just,
like watching you squirm a little bit right now. It's
I
kinda
was
funny.
just trying to get to the fucking winner at this point of the show. I'm just like, I've watched 13 goddamn episodes. This one is an hour and a half. Give me so. I'm on to the end.
Okay. So Sue goes, Rich, you're arrogant and pompous, but I admire that.
Okay.
Uh,
We love a backhanded compliment.
Rich, he doesn't admit failure without whining. Kelly, you lost in in a rowing in a swimming battle to a guy that doesn't know how to swim from the city. And it's like Sue just goes in.
Okay, work.
Kelly is very two-faced and manipulative.
I don't necessarily
Sue.
agree with that.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I said, I wrote salty much?
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that.
And then Sue literally goes, Kelly won't get my vote. Dude, Sue literally says this. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Sue goes, I wouldn't give Kelly a sip of water if she was on the verge of dying of dehydration.
So
That is how salty that she is about the situation.
wow.
Because Sue thinks that she so rightfully should have made it. I think that Sue wanted to go head against head with Rich so bad.
Probably, yeah.
She was begging
Yeah.
to be at the end and being like, "Oh, your corporate self
Yeah.
couldn't go up against my hillbilliness."
Exactly. Corporate
But
versus
here
redneck.
I am.
Corporate v redneck. Yeah.
So,
Ah, Sue.
which is funny because Sue's a truck driver, which though is somewhat of a blue collar job, it's also, in my opinion, maybe it's my corporate self or my logistics self. In my opinion, truck driving is corporate.
She might be a private,
It doesn't matter. That's even more corporate if it's private.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow. And then Sue continues to turn to the jury and pleads for them to vote for Rich.
Wow. Maybe she and Rich had a deal like off camera where it's like, I'll give you some money.
And then, no way. And
Maybe?
then, I doubt it. And then Sue goes off to say how, this game is filled with snakes and rats. And she goes, Rich, you're the snake. Kelly, you're the rat.
You're the rat.
And then Sue goes, and the snakes eat the rat. And that was it. And then Jeff allows Kelly and Rich to give their closing remarks. Because Sue didn't really have a question.
No.
She just went up and
She just said, I'm going to roast Kelly for 5 minutes.
And you know what? I think that you should go back and just see the roast.
I should.
That part, because that is pretty good.
Yeah, I should.
No pressure, though. I saw you roll your eyes.
That's good tea. No, it's just my eyes went that way.
It's okay. And Kelly goes, Sue, I'm sorry you feel that way. Kelly didn't talk down to Sue at all. And she just pleads the jury to not listen to Sue, which I think is a fair thing to do. And
Yeah.
I think that Kelly's being nothing but fair at this point.
I think Kelly's an upstanding woman.
And Rich goes, I wouldn't change a dang thing. And I agree. Rich played
Why-
a good game.
Yeah, if honestly Sue did all the talking
Yeah,
for you. Just shut up and look pretty.
Yep. And the winner gets a new Pontiac Aztec.
A Pontiac Aztec,
And
which
a
might be one of the
treasure
most
chest of cash.
ugly cars.
I can't even think of what a
You don't know?
Pontiac
You ever seen
Aztec
Breaking
looks-
Bad?
Yeah.
That's
Is that a
that's
Pontiac?
it. The most ugly car ever created, and
Yeah,
Pontiac doesn't even
But you
exist
could
anymore.
get it and then you could sell it to somebody or
Sure.
something. And you got $1 million.
And you got $1 million.
So it comes down to a vote and it is one vote. Rich wins 4-3.
I wish I. Do they tell you who voted? I don't remember. You don't.
They do show you, and I believe that you do see it all. I did not look. I should have.
Okay, because I would just be curious.
But to be honest, you got here right as I had like 20 seconds left of this. So I didn't have any. I had to skip through it, and I might have, but that's okay.
It's fine.
It's so good.
It's fine.
So
the winner is
Rich. Rich is the winner.
Rich.
Kelly lost. Rich played the better game. Kelly also played the better game, but did not know how to prove that she played the better game.
Yeah, she couldn't sell herself in the end. And in my opinion, if I look back on the entirety of the season, Rich deserved to win.
Rich did deserve to win, and I think that that's why you and I never chose to vote for him.
Yeah.
As the winner long term, because it felt too obvious. But I didn't think that he was going to win still.
No, and because he was the only person playing to win, it did also seem like there was a big target on his back. That
Right.
It was almost, there was kind of this idea that his elimination was inevitable towards the end, but no, he made it.
He made it. He done did it. And I don't think that he ever comes back for another season or anything. I think that
I don't know.
he's a one and done. He's a first and done it. And yeah, overall thoughts, Mike. First season of Survivor. The people that are tuning into this is what they tuned in for. They tuned in to see
my reaction to this show.
They tuned in to hear people who care about Survivor with somebody who's kind of a newbie to Survivor too. Because people that tune in, they might be new or they might be just super fans. It's like one or the other.
Right.
There's really not many middle of the road people here.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's you and me that are the only people that are here. So
correct.
What are your overall thoughts?
Man.
You want me to just ask a couple questions?
Sure, hit me with those questions.
All right. Overall, would you say that you liked the season or disliked the season?
If I was watching this show,
you can give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
For the first time ever as it was airing.
Nope. Today. You watched it this year for the first time. Do you give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Season 1 of Survivor.
I give it a thumbs down.
Okay, that's fair. No, be honest. That's okay.
No, I do. I give it a thumbs down.
Okay.
Given the standard of reality TV that I have grown accustomed to,
yep,
this did not meet that standard.
Fair. Totally fair.
Yeah.
I did not like the season myself.
Yeah.
I thought it was cringy. I thought that there were likable characters. There were some decent parts. There were parts of the show that I did not realize happened. And I appreciate the season for that.
Sure, it gives you more of the lore, I guess.
But it's a bad season of reality television. And it's got a lot of work to do. And I look forward to continuing to cover this show and see where it goes.
Yeah.
So that was my first question for you. My second question for you is who that made it to the jury was your least favorite character?
Nipple,
Sean.
Yeah, Nipple.
Because of how he played the game because of how he composed himself. What did you dislike?
The complete lack of everything. His I don't know, like privilege, I guess, is like the buzzword that comes to mind. But the way that he played it, the expectation of just like making it along and only really getting through to the position that he did because he was on the winning tribe to begin with.
Sure.
If he wasn't on Tagi, he would have been gone second vote when they
possibly
merged.
Possibly, maybe not. I think he would have taken it. He would have taken it a little bit differently had he been on that tribe.
Maybe, but I also thought he brought nothing to the show. He brought nothing. He gave me.
He brought some funny, like him voting alphabetical was dumb but funny, iconic, in a bad way.
Yeah,
but still iconic.
Yeah, I guess. But
his nipple ring brought some good fun to us.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, I guess. Whatever. There was a nipple ring.
Yeah, but he's a dummy.
It was fun to tease, but in my out of everybody on that tribal, it would be him, I guess, or Jarvis, maybe, if I think about it now.
I'm gonna change. I'm gonna say Rudy.
Yeah.
I think that it would have been fun to see Rich play the season without having Rudy in his pocket.
Yeah, it would have been
Honestly,
different. Yeah, it would have been different.
You know, I wonder. Yeah. So that's kind of my thing with that one. What do you hope to see in a future season of Survivor that you were missing in this season?
I need better challenges. Like
The challenges were bunk.
Yes, they were so boring. They were so piss poor.
Yeah.
Holding your hand on a totem pole
for the final challenge.
For the final challenge is obscene to me.
Yeah.
So that's what I would hope out of another season. Something challenges that are more dynamic.
Let's evolve a little bit.
That really challenge these people more, because I also like some of them were challenging ish.
Some of them were challenging for like the wrong reasons.
Yes, too. Like I really didn't get anything. One, I didn't get a single challenge where I was like, I kind of want to do that.
Yeah, there weren't a lot of.
I didn't get any of that.
You'll get that later. I hope.
Yeah, I've seen clips where there are some that are more entertaining.
Yeah. What could you ever see yourself going on Survivor?
You know, I don't like. I wouldn't love that environment for myself. Like, I hate not being in air conditioning, surrounded by bugs and rats and shit like that. I'm very much a need civilization type.
Okay. What if I told you that it's 30 days?
Okay.
It's and $1 million if you win.
Okay.
But
has the pot never changed?
The pot has never changed for the $1 million.
Wow.
However,
that's a shame.
However, you do make money just the longer you go.
Because they pay you more?
Yes.
Okay.
They pay you more. So if you're second place, you get more. If you're third place, you get less.
Okay.
Fourth, less than that.
I just think that's interesting that the pot has never like adjusted for inflation.
$1 million at the time was so high.
Yeah.
And like now, the reality TV, like let's talk about traders. The prize is only $250,000. And
yeah,
in traders, that's usually sometimes, possibly, depending on the season you watch, can be split between one or two other people.
Yeah, but you also have to look at the difference in the cast. So
the cast are people that are wealthy already.
Exactly.
So
they don't. They're not.
No. So you got it mixed up. Don't you think that the people with less money don't need such a big incentive?
I think the people that don't make a lot of money would require a larger incentive, so $1 million. And the people that are already established in their careers, already have an audience, already make money, they're not going on the show for the $250,000 that's going to get 40% taxed anyway. They're going on to expand their base. They're
right, and I dislike that. I think they
that's
should
reality TV.
I agree. I understand. That's why I'm not a huge reality TV show head. That's why
not yet.
That's
You're
why,
getting there.
That's why I love Survivor so much. It's because the people that go on, for the most part, they go on with the want to win.
Yeah, it's different
for the most part.
Yeah, it's a different environment.
When I watch traders, it's like, all right, Dwayne, we're wrapping up here.
Yeah,
all right,
you tell him, bud.
We're wrapping up, boy. So why don't you just sit your little hiney back? Oi, governor. Anyhow,
oi.
It's so whatever. I lost the tangent. So it's a good show though. I like it. The season wasn't that good. I'm not sure how we're going to proceed. And I don't know if you want to talk about this on air or off air. Do you want me to keep the show going until I get to a season that I want you to do? Or do you want us to do our second season of Silver Survivors is just a completely different season?
I was thinking the latter.
Is that the second one or the first one?
The latter is the second one.
The second one's the latter?
Yeah, former's the first.
All right. Then I'm going to have to pick out a good season.
Because like personally, I don't anticipate them really making the corrections that I need by season 2.
For sure.
So I would rather have somebody with some knowledge of the fucking crazy franchise that it is that could give me what I'm looking for in a later season.
Okay. All right. Something to think about.
Yeah. But Would you go on Survivor? Would you do it? Would you submit a tape?
Yeah, I would do it.
Let's do it. Let's make a tape.
I think that it'd be, yeah, sure. I'll do it with you. I'm down. I think Rachel would have to do it too because she would be so pissed if I go on the show and she doesn't. She'd be so pissed.
Whatever. It's not your choice if you get cast and she
I
doesn't.
know. But
see, I would think I would. Survivor might not be my shtick because I don't love the outdoors per se. I'm not. I mean, like I'm fine with.
But that's part of it.
I'm fine with a hike as soon as I can come home and take a shower.
Yeah,
like that's the difference. Where I would much rather do Big Brother because
you're in a house.
I'm in a house. I'm amongst.
Yeah.
Running water. You can cook. There's a refrigerator. There's booze. I would much prefer Big Brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good for you. Well, that's all I got for this first season of Sofa Survivors. Thanks so much for anybody who tunes in to listen to us. And we hope to bring you some more content here soon.
So much content.
Thanks, guys. I'm Tom Sofa.
And I'm Mike Tomato.
See you guys soon. Bye.